welcome back to Definitely Not Definitive. I'm Ken.
And I'm Bethany.
And we're just a deadly duo in love that loves reaction to some death battle.
We do, and this one is gonna be intense, I think.
Yes, it is. So it's Fight Night Friday, everybody. Yeah. All right, so we do Fight Night Friday not only on this channel, but over on Definitely Not Definitive Games, and over on our Instagram as well at We Are Definitely Not Definitive. And over later today on Definitely Not Definitive Games, we're gonna be watching Injustice stage transitions. Because today's death battle is Harley Quinn versus Jinx.
Two just completely loose cannons, and I have no idea what to expect with this.
But Bethany's going to explain to you how we do death battle.
So, buckle up. We're going to start off by watching the first half of the death battle video, where they talk about the characters, their skills, their weapons, any special abilities. Mm-hmm. Then we stop the video, and on our handy little post-it notes, Ken and I will separately, and like old-fashioned student test style, covering up, write down who we think is going to win, so that the other person doesn't know.
Yep.
We will then reveal to you who we think is going to win, and we will then watch the actual death battle to see which one of us is the winner and which one of us is the loser. Now, here's the catch.
So we have a bet going. Ongoing bet, and whoever gets the most death battles correct by Thanksgiving gets to pick what the cosplay outfit is for New Year's Eve or New Year's Day, maybe both, I don't know, we'll see what happens. Maybe we'll wear them both days, who knows, just, make it fun. But gets to pick that, so there's a lot riding on this. Bethany's on a winning streak, she's got 2 victories, I only have 1, so it's 2-1. I started out early, out of the gate, 1-0.
He did.
And then a lot of bragging going on, and I've been put in my place. All right, if you want more death battle reactions, we got a playlist down below in the description of this video. Let's get this started.
Harley Quinn, DC's fantabulous anti-hero. Jinx, the loose cannon of League of Legends. We live in a society that adheres to strict laws and norms, but these two ladies turn that system on its head with their wild enthusiasm for destruction and chaos. Born to a middle-class family in the heart of Brooklyn, USA, Harleen Quinzel had long lived a life of mediocrity. She had embarrassing parents, annoying siblings, and a high school life that sucked. Even more than, the normal ones. She never quite felt like she fit in anywhere. But despite this, Harley knew she was destined for greatness. So, inspired by a childhood crush turned psychotic murderer, Harleen spent years training to be a world-renowned criminal psychiatrist, eventually traveling to Gotham City's infamous Arkham Asylum to research the most dangerous criminals on the planet, like Batman's arch nemesis, the Joker. But after analyzing the Joker and his horrific, unspeakable history as a homicidal clown,
she's trained by the Amazons.
Truth.
Oh, true enthusiast.
Actually a misunderstood angel squashed down by an unjust society and wrongfully harassed by that son of a bitch, Batman. This was the first of the Joker's many manipulations, leading Harleen to see a warped reflection of herself through him, culminating in her breaking him out of prison, bleaching her skin via chemical baptism, and joining him on his life of crime, descending into love like madness and reborn as the fantastic Harley Quinn. And she was packing plenty of tools of maniacal mayhem, including her iconic hammer, electric buzzers, and bombs of all shapes and sizes, like the dreaded banana cream pie, the most evil of all pie flavors. When she wants to get around quickly, she can use her handy-dandy pogo stick, which she straps rockets to. That doesn't seem safe. Harley combines her arsenal with unparalleled gymnastic skills, making her far deadlier than your average criminal. She can even keep up with experts like Deadshot and Catwoman, even Batman at times. The peak human superhero that can dodge lightning and survive this alien device exploding, which obliterated multiple city blocks. Yeah, damn. I think that stretches the term peak human just a bit. But hey, he's the goddamn Batman, so we'll allow it. Unfortunately for Harley, despite her unwavering loyalty to the Joker, their honeymoon period did not last. Yeah. He spent years abusing her, physically and emotionally, tearing her down piece by piece. Then, when he got bored, he strapped her to a friggin' rocket and launched her halfway across Gotham City. Guess that's one way to say, no, it's not you, it's me. Bye! Harley was left alone in the wreckage, abandoned by the one person she dedicated her entire life to. Until fellow villain Poison Ivy came by. She nursed Harley back to health, literally healing her from a damaged relationship. Ivy even gave Harley a chemical concoction that granted her superhuman strength and a healing factor. I suppose a healthy relationship can sometimes feel like your own superpower in and of itself. Yeah, and those two definitely seem like very good friends. With Ivy at her side, Harley went on to rebuild herself as a famous anti-hero, leading teams like the Gotham Sirens and Suicide Squad. She worked on developing new skills built around her own strengths rather than that of her past, like learning to use her lifelong knowledge of psychoanalysis to manipulate her foes mid-combat, and creating of her own chemical concoctions, like tranquilizers and sleeping gases that can incapacitate medicuments. She even reverse-engineered her former flame's trademark Joker Venom. This deadly substance excites the laughter centers in a person's brain and forces them to laugh until they suffocate. Harley was clearly on top of the world, but nothing caps off self-improvement like a Rocky Balboa training montage. So Harley went to Themyscira of all places to get a combat internship with the Amazon, just like her favorite superhero, Wonder Woman. And imagine going from bashing random goons and goblins to fighting alongside immortal warrior goddesses. She became agile enough to jump between skyscrapers and strong enough to rip an entire palm tree out of the ground with her bare hands. Based on the size of the tree and the weight of an average palm by foot, that weighs about 600 pounds. And she can hold it one-handed, so her actual strength is probably at least twice as much. Enough to lift a full-grown brown bear and throw it like a rag doll. Hell, her skills advanced so far, she was appointed a herald of the bullets
and missiles,
you know,
and lightning.
Ruled by the living embodiment of evil. Even the actual personification of the DC editorial staff likes to call her in to help with tough jams. As the years went on, Harley surprised literally everyone by transitioning from supervillain to superhero. She partnered up with other heroes, became a psychiatrist again, and legitimately started helping other vigilantes with trauma, like Jason Todd, who definitely needed that. In fact, the Bat family she used to antagonize and ridicule eventually accepted her as kind of an extended member of their group, teaming up with her to save Gotham from her toxic ex. Good for her. Guess we're not going to talk about it when she went back to the Joker a couple times, huh? In the end, she may be a little nutty, but you'd be mad not to love Harley Quinn.
Well said. All right, Jinx, you got a lot to live up to.
The world of Runeterra is a wondrous fantasy land of advanced technology, arcane magics, and legendary champions. But on its northern shores are two cities locked in political turmoil. For decades, Piltover's rich elite have exploited the undercity of Zaun, forcing workers into unsafe conditions and brutalizing the populace with terrifying police enforcers. Oh, so like New Jersey. You could have just said New Jersey. Until one day, a wild, loose cannon would literally explode onto the scene.
On Old New Lore, arcane and various promotional
medicine, menacing its people with bombs, gunfire, and even more
Star
bombs.
Guardians will be exclusive.
This was Jinx. Jinx destroyed Zeppelins, Jumanji the shit out of the local zoo. Switch the street signs. What? Now those monkeys will never find their way back. Only the enforcer, Violet, could hope to stop her. But even armed with massive gauntlets weighing over 4,000 pounds each, Vi could not definitively overcome Jinx's magnificent arsenal of mechanical monstrosities. Man, they're so evenly meshed. It's almost like they're related. Anyway, Jinx can burst open birds with her trusty Zapper Shock pistol, turn enemies to Swiss cheese with her Pow Pow minigun, and blow bad guys to bits with her Flame Chomper grenades. But Jinx's favorite weapon is her Fishbones rocket launcher. So much so, she rides it like a rocket-powered pogo stick.
Ooh, okay.
Even less safe. Well, don't let her manic attitude fool you. Not only is Jinx tough enough to take a hit from Braum, the guy who can shake mountains with a punch, but she's wicked smart. Almost all her gear is custom made. She's even recreated Hex Tech, funky science powered by magic crystals. Ooh! League of Legends is a multiplayer online battle arena game forged in the flames of LAN parties and salty gamer tears. Oh! Any professional will tell you, to play the game well, you need to min-max your character's loadout with the best possible items. Yeah, and the worst mistake you can make is being new. God, it's the midterms all over again. No, Boomstick, stay in your lane. What are you doing in the jungle? Stop it, feeder. Jinx's ideal loadouts include Phantom Dancer, so she can phase through objects after landing a blow. I'd like to phase out of this conversation. And there's the Quicksilver Sash, which protects her from status effects like sleep paralysis and poison. This includes forced actions, which make you do things you don't want to do. Hey, Boom, you want to pop into a match with your old Teemo from back in the day? I I can set it up right now. How about we move on to Arcane before I ram my foot up your ass?
Aww. Is that his ex?
So, there's more to Jinx than what the main games depict. Before her infamous tomfoolery, most people around Zon knew her as an innocent young tinkerer named Powder.
Like pretty much everyone in the Undercity, Powder had it rough. She lost her parents in a conflict with enforcers, but had a bit of luck when she joined this cool foster family along with Vi, who was, gasp, her sister all along. If you're wondering what put soap in their opera, Vi was a total badass, and Powder was desperate to also prove herself to her newfound family. And then she made a mistake.
Seemingly abandoned, Powder was left in the hands of the most notorious drug kingpin around. Silco was not the father she needed, but the one she wanted, teaching her to turn her perceived weaknesses into her greatest strengths. Thus, she became Jinx.
Even when the sisters reunited years later, they couldn't fully reconcile, setting up the game of cat and mouse in the game.
Jinx was an excellent rival, able to keep up with other skilled warriors like the bullet-dodging Echo, and survive the worst of Zon's toxic environments, which can kill normal people in minutes. After a near-fatal explosion, she was also infused with Shimmer, a toxic strength and speed-enhancing drug that permanently altered her body's biochemistry.
But Shimmer's side effects intensified her prior trauma, making her much more unhinged and prone to attacking with lethal intent, inspiring her ultimate weapon, the Super Mega Death Rocket! This baby's been powered by both Hextech and its even more volatile cousin, Chemtech. That's even more explosive! Never got as much I appreciated the explodey options. Anyway, both Hextech and Chemtech are comparable in power to natural magic, on par with what a badass mage like Lux is able to cast, such as Lucid Singularity, which can totally body these big old rocks.
Measuring their width with Lux's height, we can determine she destroyed almost 13,000 tons of rock from 30 meters away.
Promotional trailers show Mega Death Rocket matching the speed and power of Lux's Final Spark, a much more powerful attack that fires a Kamehameha of natural light. So her rocket is not only super strong, but super fast. From powder to gunpowder, Silco couldn't be prouder.
But her violent streak grew grim until the day she met a particularly explosive Yordle. Ziggs bonded with her over their mutual passion for destruction, but his was more tempered, controlled. Thanks to his wisdom, Jinx learned a little bit of restraint when it came to exploding things of a more fleshy nature.
Helping her tone down the wanton violence and recover some of her mental stability, like he's some kind of feline-brained Jiminy Cricket.
And despite being on opposite sides of the bridge, Jinx and Vi remained sisters, ultimately still caring about each other in their own way, even if they were at odds more often than not.
Though you better believe that when things get boring and uptight, Jinx will be there to shake things up.
Okay.
Okay. This is who I think's gonna win. We didn't get bigger pieces of paper this time. We said we were going to. Oh, you're cheating! You're cheating!
We get to see each other now because you voted.
Both Harley?
Hey.
Yeah.
All right.
I thought we were both gonna go for Harley on this one, even like when it first started.
So why you?
Okay. Why me? Why me? You know, one, I'm a little bit confused because I thought like they didn't go. I thought they just went with like the canon material and like the game material for League of Legends, I guess. And I heard, and I don't know if this is true, but like Arcane is, I mean, it's basically like a multiverse of League of Legends, and it's not necessarily, I mean, while it's using the same characters, they don't necessarily all have the same, not everything's the same in the game that it is in Arcane. So it was a little bit odd that they included both of those, but you know, I guess that's the best way to make it fair, because without Shimmer, I don't see how Jinx would stand a chance. For me, the deciding factor was the line that Harley Quinn can use psychological advantages to like sort of manipulate her opponents, and Jinx has such psychological damage that I think that that's gonna be the ultimate thing, and she can heal a lot too.
So we picked up on the same thing.
Okay.
That was probably the thing that retained me on Team Harley, because I was definitely Team Harley from the start. I was like, wow, she has even more abilities than I realized, and she's got like the world's biggest arsenal of stuff, from toxins to bombs to bats to, I mean, she's just got so much stuff to work with. I also like, just because I pick characters that I like first and foremost, regardless of their ability to actually win the fight, which is not always the smartest decision, but I love Harley's redemption story. I love that she goes from being a supervillain to a superhero. Yeah. And that transition of like supervillain, villain, anti-hero, hero, superhero, like to the point of getting the Batman League to be on board with her. I also loved the line, and pardon the language, but if you hurt any of her animals, she will fuck you up. And I'm like, that's my girl. Like, yes, Team Harley. And then for me, it was the fact that, like you said, Harley is very smart and she has the psychoanalysis and psychiatry on her side. Jinx is a genius, but she is the kind of genius that tilts towards madness. And her getting the shimmer also made her even less in control of her mind, which did not have the best mental stability to begin with. So I think, like, at the end of the day, Harley's in control of herself, Jinx is not.
Yeah, and I mean, they did a good job of, you know, propping Jinx up, though, more than I thought they were going to be able to. I mean, by saying that she was able to take a hit from Braum, who was, like, you know, knocking down mountains and everything, and being able to take a blast from Lux, and they said, like, you know, whenever they start throwing math out there, it's like, you know, they're really starting to to show you how much they can take, and that almost swayed me, but I was just so locked in on the psychological effect of, you know, Harley being able to manipulate Jinx in battle, and like that ultimately being what the outcome would be. So, are you ready?
I'm ready. Are you ready?
I'm ready. Let's do this.
All right, the combatants are set for the data through all possibilities.
It's time for a death battle!
Come on, Harley.
And now.
Ooh, good
yeah.
Very good location.
Great animation too. Emo pigeons.
Oh, I just love exploding stuff.
You blooper Teddy.
I like exploding stuff too. Why don't I start with your head?
Oh.
Get still. I'm trying to shoot you.
Nice.
Oh.
Look out! She's right behind you.
Aw, thanks, pal. Traitor.
Look how it got sad.
You're a real firecracker. Got a light? Oh, sure thing.
Ooh.
Oh.
Nice shot.
Yeah.
Got anything? No! I'm haywire!
Uh-oh.
Well, that's unfortunate.
Ooh, Mayor Maze.
Sorry, soldier, do that. To make up for it, I got you some nice perfume. Smells like...
Oh.
And you ain't crazy. You don't have that same smile. A second of tuna.
No!
Wait
she can heal.
Don't you want to get in close and savor my emotions as you deliver the final kill? Nah, bye.
Oh! Jinx wins! We lose.
Oh my
Don't
god.
just stand there, Jinx. You just let a free teddy bear. What if it's Timbers?
This was a complicated fight with far more factors to consider than at first blush. Harley had more direct combat experience against superpowered beings, along
Yeah.
with better training.
But Jinx's
Yeah.
physical power, diabolical weaponry, and assortment of items were just enough to roast this Harlequin duck.
While Harley lifting over 1,200 pounds is impressive, Jinx can compete with Vi, whose gauntlets weigh 8 times that in the game.
And Jinx can take hits from a guy who can shake mountains. A bit beyond Harley's level of strength.
Harley may have been more naturally acrobatic, but Jinx's hex tech and intangibility matched and outclassed that mobility. The teleporting tablet alone could control the entire fight, since Jinx could send herself or Harley just about anywhere.
And while Harley had a moderate healing factor, she's never regenerated entire body parts before. So a big enough kaboom would definitely kill her. And Jinx's weapons were strong enough to do just that. In order to destroy over 13,000 tons of rock from such a distance, Lux's magic explosion would need a yield of about 20 kilotons of TNT.
And Jinx's hex tech and chem tech are similar to Lux's magic in speed and power.
Even if we steal Harley's durability to Batman surviving this massive explosion, the potency of Jinx's weaponry outpaces more than 300 times.
Sure, Harley is legitimately intelligent, but so is Jinx, as evidenced by her inventions and routinely outwitting Vi and her task force.
Yeah, but
Jinx is
she's
typically
unstable.
distrusting of people she's just met, so Harley's potential mind games were likely to fall on skeptical ears.
Jinx was much more likely to shoot first and ask questions later.
Now, Harley still had her wide array of poisons and chemical agents, like the Joker venom, which would kill most opponents in minutes. However, after living her whole life in the toxic cesspool of Zon, her tolerance for poisons is clearly much higher than a normal person. Not to mention, the Quicksilver Sash could simply end any unwanted effect on her. The winner is Jinx.
That one, I say, you know, I mean, like sometimes people, you know, disagree with it, but I think that one's the one that I just disagree with the most. I think Harley should have won, and I don't necessarily buy that I think it was a convenient thing to be like, oh well, Jinx is distrusting of people, so she wouldn't be able to be like psychologically affected by Harley. But you know, I mean, that's just one opinion. So obviously they do a ton of research, and we have a ton of respect for what they do, and like, you know, they do all the math and everything like that, and they research these characters very heavily. They know a lot more than we do about them, so at the end of the day, it's you know, we are at their mercy.
I would agree with your assessment. I think it's very convenient to be like, oh, Harley tried this one tactic that didn't work and she's dead. If Harley is the brilliant psychologist that we all know her to be, you don't just try one tactic of like, yeah, let's be friends, come check me out. And like, I don't know, it felt like to me they were watering down like her one skill that is fundamental to her as a person outside of her hero status. I think that was convenient for the purposes of Jinx winning versus being a legitimately earned situation.
So I guess I think my main problem with it, with Harley Quinn's the psychological thing not working, was that what she used as a psychological tactic was so weak that it was kind of like not giving Harley credit. Like if Harley had used something on Jinx that was like a cool psychological tactic, and then like Jinx just with mistrusting it didn't work. Like it was kind of lame at the end, just being like, don't you want to come in and and take some satisfaction? Look at my eyes real close. It's like, nah, I'm okay. Like that's not using a psychological advantage from like what she's kind of like gathered from Jinx as she's been battling her or whatever. That's just kind of a a bad villain tactic at the end. It's like, the villain explaining its whole plan or something like that. It's just like, it's, I don't know, a weird trope. But it's good. I mean, like, I'm learning more about these death battles, and like there are certain traps that they lay, and I think that was one of the traps, is that they talked about Harley's Quinn's psychological advantage, and then they talked about Jinx's trauma. And so that's the trap that they wanted you to fall in, so that you would everyone would think that Harley would win, and then they switched it around and they made Jinx win. So it's a nice strategy that I gotta keep in mind going forward as we continue this death battle. And if you want more Fight Night Friday, we are reacting to Injustice, all the stage transitions on our other channel, Definitely Not Definitive Games, later today. So you should go ahead and check that out. And we got all of our death battle reactions in a playlist down below in the description of this video. Thanks so much for checking out our reaction for Death Battle, Harley Quinn versus Jinx. But just keep in mind
that our reaction is definitely not definitive.